Okay, I was just saying, as I was talking to myself, that there's no good answer to this problem. But then I realized that if it's my headphone cord that's broken, that's actually better than my phone being broken. Because my music is giving out on one side, and I have a bit of anxiety right now because I just smoked two weeds. And I normally only smoke one. So I'm gonna drink some water. I have not eaten in since like this is my second day not eating, and I've been smoking weed, and I've been not even drinking any water. Dry fasting, not good for you. Bad, you die. Water, dry fasting. Dry fasting kills you. Mm. But not 2 days. It's not a suicide thing. It's not a self harm thing. This isn't even dangerous. 2 days is okay for me at least, and I think for most people, but I don't know, but probably statistically, I'd guess that. Um, but I'm just saying that as trivia, and there are people out there who would take that as well. You gave me advice, and now you're responsible for me. And it's like, no, I'm not. It's not what I mean. Okay, do you know how fucking retarded I am? Like, and if I see that you're even more retarded than me, and you're dogmatically listening to me, like making an ideology out of me, I'm grossed out, and not in the way that I judge. That I'm like, oh fuck you, in a way that I hide it. That I'm like, that's like really fucked up. So I wanted to talk tonight about getting sucked into things and how it happens. So basically, you say something like, I don't like cookies. I hate cookies, and they're just the worst. Someone who really loves cookies hears you say that, and they think, "What? You're you're judging me?" And so they say, "Yeah, I guess you really hate cookies because your dad used to have cookies, right?" Because well, never mind. And then you say, "Well, what do you mean?" And then they say, "Well, I don't know. Does you remember that thing that you said that your dad did? That was like you weren't going to tell anyone." That thing. That's probably why. He. I mean, that's probably why you don't like cookies. That's probably why you have all those self harm issues, because it's like everywhere you go, you see cookies, and it just reminds you of that. Okay, so now as that person, you're like super triggered, and you're like, I can't believe you're going there. And you don't even know that you triggered them first. You never even thought ahead, oh, they hate cookies. And they felt that you were accusing them of being less than. And so now they're taking revenge, and this is about them. You got caught up into thinking this is about you. You went into, it's called righteous indignation, something like that. It's what the narcissist wants from you, and it's like where you're like, what? You're talking about my dad? What? Like, it's so sick. And their whole persona, everything you know about them on paper and in provable terms, without their gay implications. And if you're a guy and you talk in implications, you're gay. And if you're a woman and you talk in implications, it's the same reason that you hide ovulation from yourself. You're talking in implications to hide ovulation from the other men, to even hide it from yourself, so that no other men will know whose offspring is yours. Like, even when you blush, you have more fat in your face to hide your microfacial expressions, to show that you're actually polyamorous, like women all are, of course, but men are monogamous. That's something that was on the Joe Rogan show, and something that I know a lot of people know this. More men are single than women. How is that possible when half the women are people and half the men are people? Then what's the deal? It's because women are polyamorous and men are fucking monogamous. Does that irk me some? Yeah, maybe. I think I might be so fucked up that I don't even realize it. I sometimes see a beautiful woman and it gives me a feeling of such a foreign concept at this point. Even though I know what it is to take a beautiful woman for granted as well. But at this point, I'm just like, it's just foreign. I can barely even imagine. And if I do imagine, it might be kind of painful. I'm not sure I'd want to, actually. And I feel, in a certain sense, that imagining it and lusting is a very embarrassing thing. And you shouldn't have to talk about not doing it. It should just be really obvious. It's like automatic cuckolding, and instead of being grossed out by it, you make it a fetish. Because you're in some kind of zoo and you can't get your needs met and you don't want to go full-blown gay, so you just go into some kind of like super beta position or something. And I'm not a fan of the whole alpha beta thing, like, or the sigma thing, or the anything. There's one I liked. It was called the Aloha. Aloha. Just live and let live. Just, you know, be cool. But even that is too much. To even say be cool is too uncool. If you're actually cool, you won't even say the word cool. It won't even need to be in your vocabulary. It won't even need to be in your vocabulary. If cool is what you are. The word cool has never heard of the word cool. It's never said its own name. I used to get freaked out by myself. Have you ever worried that you're a bad person? And one of the things that would worry me that I was a bad person, that would kind of confirm it and remind me of the devil mocks at every step. When I'm feeling wobbly and I'm just getting over some issue, I'd take a drink, and right before the water would hit my mouth, I'd stick my tongue out into the bottle compulsively. And it felt like pathologically, like just disgusting, like this, like a greed for water. Have you ever seen someone at a family party who it's obvious that they're greedy? They're just, you know, their partner is like, oh man, they put so much on their plate, you know, and it's just like, yeah, it's all free, right? And they're, or something like that. It's the micro expression of that. And it's even worse because the guy who's just blatantly greedy, he's on a different level. He's more self-surrendered. He's surrendered to you. He's like, yeah, I am kind of greedy, right? Yeah, I know that you know. It's fine. But the person who just goes, yeah, no, I would never do that. You know? The person who... It even weirded me out how much I actually just did that impression. So I apologize. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. So what? Okay? So what? It's the worst thing. No, really. The worst punishment, according to Jed McKenna, is reserved for heretics. And that's what you are if you're a weirdo. You're a misfit or an outcast, I think. But different meanings of the word. But I'm every meaning of it. Total weirdo. It's only distasteful if you back out of it. If you go, no, I'm not a weirdo, and then they go, yeah, you are, you're lying, that's uncool. But you go, yeah, I'm a weirdo. Yeah, yes, I am. I really am. I embrace it. You know who else I think embraces it? Jim Carrey. But I think Jim Carrey proves something. I'm not sure he's a good person. I'm not sure he's vegan. Okay, now, if you're not vegan, that's not the same as if he's not vegan, I think. Maybe not. Maybe he's some kind of pathological where he has to work all the time. But I'm vegan because I lived with a rich person who was ironically very not compassionate, doesn't care about animals. If they had a business like a tobacco, if they had a smoking tobacco plant business, they wouldn't say, "Oh, is this unethical?" That thought wouldn't conflict with them. They would just say, "Yes, let's have this." I lived with someone like that who is super rich, and I got used to, and it took a long time to feel comfortable doing nothing all day without feeling guilty about it and not having plans to start doing anything ever. And in that space, I got to learn about anything I wanted, like health, and that inevitably led to veganism, and that inevitably led to raw veganism, that inevitably led to what is health, what is these things that people say mythology, like a virus or like an immune system, and they're so sure, but you can't argue with them. If you say, just like gang stalking, if you say, well, let's talk about it, they'll say no, no, no. If you say, well, just let's talk about what a virus is or what the immune system is, they'll say, I'm so sure that you're wrong that I'm not even going to argue with you, and I'm so sure that you're bent to fucking lunacy that there's nothing I could say that can reach you, and I can't help you. I'm sorry, we can't talk. Okay, that's what they think. And and I'm just asking simple questions, like point to the immune system, like just point to it, put it in a scale, like just weigh it. They won't even fucking engage. But I'm really nervous all of a sudden. I did smoke twice, and I haven't eaten in 2 days. I feel good about that. I have been really craving some spring rolls. I haven't jacked off in 2 days, too. I've been wanting to, kind of. I haven't had any boners today. And it's tough. I've almost puked a few times. I've had more mental clarity at the first 24 hours of a water fast, and then ongoing, continually, you have 3,000% growth hormone. So I have a really boosted up sort of sense. I'm really weak in a certain sense, but in another sense, there's some areas that are really strong, like I don't know, but it feels like grounding. And I only sleep on my stomach. I was like, ChatGPT, why? Almost just half bored asking it stupid questions. Why do I only sleep on my stomach? Obvious answer, because I have bad posture. ChatGPT gives me a answer that almost makes me cry. It says to me, you seek grounding. I say, okay, what's that? You seek a feeling of safety, warmth, familiarity, comfort. You would comfort yourself with a grounding blanket if you were to sleep on your side to get a similar effect, or a full body pillow and a grounding effect. And I thought, oh my God, I have actually been recently sleeping on my side after many long times of trying to stop sleeping on my stomach because my posture's so bad, and sleeping on your stomach is really bad. It's difficult. And so what I do is, and I read someone else doing this on Reddit, and the last person I dated who was a gang stalker slept like this too. On my stomach, with the pillow under my arm and under my chest, but not under my head. And that kind of props my neck and head in a certain angle where the pressure isn't really on my neck and on my head. And I completely forget what I'm talking about. But this new cord that I'm gonna have to reorder, it's gonna cost me ADD moment. My new video game, it sucks. The gameplay, I'm just bored of it. It's too hard actually. I just can't beat it. Maybe I should turn the game difficulty down onto the minimum. And I had this idea of this guy for a movie, this guy who's a really lame musician and he really takes it seriously. And this is so lame. I'm sorry for even just saying this because this goes nowhere. This is so dumb. But this this movie about this guy who's a really lame musician and he's super corny and he takes it really seriously, like way more seriously than his talent would merit. Like he totally sucks. And if anyone says anything like, it's never going to go anywhere because it clearly sucks and like we love you and you're actually retarded if you think that your music doesn't suck. And the people who say it's good are basically gang stalking you or something to that effect. And so everything he says, he changes it to music language. So if it's like turn the heat down on the stove, he's like turn the volume down on the stove. And it's to the point where it's like not just a one-off here and there. It's like excessive. Like you can see that it's planned, and he said it a million times. Like anything where there's an excuse for it, like push the volume down in the elevator, like just anything. And it's almost like once every 3 minutes, or or every 5 minutes or something. And here's the other thing too: when we have these Masonic numbers everywhere, we will unconsciously copy them. That's something we do. It's something that apparently sociopaths do. I can't remember where I've heard that in a professional context. I've heard that from someone who isn't like a professional. I don't know where they heard that from. But again, I've forgotten what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to be real cute now because I'm really embarrassed about it. But we mimic each other to some extent. Apparently a psychopath will copy an entire personality. But it's completely common. And I do this sometimes. I really try to stop it. But I sometimes sound like the people I watch. And it happens unconsciously. Maybe that's pathological. But maybe it happens pathologically. Or maybe it's just part of, at a certain line, there's a spectrum between psychopathy and empathy. And there's some level of empathy where you talk like someone, or your intonation is kind of similar to theirs, or something like that. Or maybe you even pick up their pace. One of the things I really notice and I listen to about people is what kind of pace do they have? How do they feel? I'm not actually caring so much about what they're saying, usually. And I'm more so just an emotional fly. I'm trying to get on the wave of anyone who has something worth tuning to, that I can say, I'm you now. I just became you. I just empathized with you and I felt your rhythm completely, and I actually am you now. I'm actually plugging in to you, to your matrix, for like the whole time I'm listening to you, and I'm just gone. I'm just a fly. And the more of a fly I can be, the more meditative I can be, the more I can disappear, the more I can fully be with you, and the more I can fully be you and really say, I actually have become you, and I actually am you, and you are now a part of me, and I can now channel you at any time. Not that I would, but if it needed to happen, it would, and it would be out of my control. It would just happen. It would be like if you say, okay, I'm going to think your name, and you're just going to know it right when I think it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do it. But if you really needed that person, you would suddenly get a call from them and they'd go, I just had to call you. And you'd go, yeah, I don't believe in this superstition stuff either. But this felt so strong that if we're linked and there's these particles that are the same no matter how far apart they are, apparently. One changes and the other one changes, and they're infinite spaces apart. Could that not happen through some energetic field of, I don't know, anima cosa, what the monks say? It's like prana or something like that. I want to have good energy, and I do have anxiety, but the thing is, my anxiety can translate to something that is, and again, obviously when you're high, you come back to it the next day and you go, oh my God, I shouldn't have posted that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. That's so fucking stupid. Everyone thinks that. I'm high right now. I'm thinking this is pretty cool. And this water bottle is amazing. And speaking of water fasts, I just started drinking water because I've been dry fasting for 2 days, basically, almost. I ordered on Amazon a sleep mask that has indented eye sockets, and it is for side sleeping. And I also ordered an additional sleep mask, headband, Bluetooth headphones with super thin elastic 4 millimeter thick ear speakers, so I can wear both of those, have complete blackout. Oh, was I gonna say the thing about, you see all these Masonic numbers, and I don't know if I said this part already, but, and then you just end up saying them. You just end up saying the number 3. Oh, how many cookies should I have? 3. Just, it's like, but it's even times when the number of cookies you want isn't actually 3. It's just an iconic number. And then you're promoting them just by saying it, but you're not even trying to, because it's just a number that you say, because your brain naturally works like that, like a search engine, like an algorithm. It's the word you hear, so it's the word you say. And that's lame. That's like, I think that gang stalking is going to stop. And I'm not saying this from a perspective of holding my breath and hoping it's going to stop. I'm not saying this with an ounce of hope in me. I'm not even saying it like that. I was going to say I'm not even saying it wanting it to stop. Yeah, I do want it to stop in an indirect way, in a backwards way. I often, or sometimes, I feel disturbed by it. Sometimes the disturbance carries into my psychology, into my emotions, and into my way of interacting with people. And the thing about women is, a woman needs you to love her, or else she'll hate you. And if you don't have love to give because you're upset because someone has fucked with you, and then the woman doesn't understand that, or she's not sympathetic to it, she will just, or she hates it and wants to punish you, and she says, yes, you should be stronger. It's all in your control. I just want the best for you. And she says that absurdity so that she could feel good at night, so she could kill you to get off on it, while saying, and I'm the hero who was, raised by villains. I'm just, in spite of being raised by villains, I turned out a hero. And now I have to help these poor lost fools. And the gang stalkers I think, this is something that kind of I inferred, I've heard someone else say this, that the TI is going to make the association, and there's some contradictions here, that they're always being watched, even when they're in the bathroom, even when they're in the cave, like wherever, in the airplane, and the TI is going to then say, well, I better not get up to any trouble, because now that I know I'm always being watched, I can't do my illegal activity that I was planning on, that these pesky gang stalkers are foiling me from. one of the funniest and first contradictions, and actually one of the only contradiction that I thought, but I'm sure I could think of more, is most TIs don't even know they're TIs. And the TIs are also told that they're not TIs. And they're also women who are more stupid, who aren't going to figure it out. Like more weak. Like a woman is, you know, a woman is going to be as helpless as a guy to admit she's a TI. Like, do you think a woman is as dumb as she is because she has more luxuries than man and she doesn't have to be smart? Or do you think it's just not in a woman's nature to be smart? Now, let's define smart. Because a woman's emotional center in her brain is like 3 times bigger than a man's. And that makes her able to emotionally control a man in the way that a man can control a woman through physical violence if she wanted to emotionally manipulate him. Which is really dangerous if people are bullying you and you get caught up into it, especially if you think it's your fault. Like if you say, I don't really like cookies, and then the person says, well, is that because, your dad used to like cookies? Especially if you get caught up and you don't realize that's actually about them. And if you just say it's about them, if you just go, man, that was so disproportionate that clearly it's about them, you didn't really figure out and see for yourself from the inside out how it's about them. You still said it as a placation to yourself. And you still went home and jacked off about it and then cried and then punched yourself in the face and tried to eat your own arm. This new cord is going to cost me like $20. And I'm upset that I'm just forgetting what I'm talking about again, but I'm cushioning it with talking about this cord, which I really like. These are my Bose headphones. Funny enough, I was just talking about these today, how great they are. And then tonight, all of a sudden, the cord just stopped working. Sometimes coincidences like that happen. And I'm shopping for new pillows. So ChatGPT is helping me. ChatGPT said it's because you crave grounding. And I was never able to sleep on my side, although I really wanted to, until I started putting pillows between my legs and in my chest and hugging it. And then I could suddenly sleep. And I thought it must be because my posture is getting better, which it is, but it's only getting better because I'm sleeping on my side, and I'm only sleeping on my side because the grounding of putting the pillows. I should get a body pillow. It's more expensive. I don't have that kind of money. My mom offered to buy me a pillow at Costco, just a regular pillow. I'm not sure if I'm that kind of person anymore who uses a regular pillow. I might be someone, although, I have so much ADD, places I could go right now with things I want to tell you about pillows. The first thing, there's this classic pillow. Just think of a classic pillow. $150 about, 4.4 star rating with like 10,000 reviews. That's crazy high. 4.4 with 3,000 reviews, that'd be okay. That'd be kind of normal. But this is crazy high. Regular looking pillow, big hole in the middle for headphones, for over-the-ear headphones. Super awesome looking pillow, nothing special. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Found another one, looks just the same, like a knockoff for $29, and it has 3.5 star rating. What's the deal? Then there's these other memory foam pillows. They have like weird indentations, like a spot for your neck. It kind of dips in on your ear, which will be good for my speaker on my Bluetooth headband. And it might be good for my big bulky, which was the one complaint on Amazon, blindfold or a sleep mask. Okay, so that's just 2 things about pillows. That's not really that much. I may have had a third. Well, my mom offered to get me a pillow from Costco, which would be just a normal pillow. But I kind of want a memory foam one. I kind of want to try it. I'm not really sure. I have tried a memory foam, but I didn't like it. And I think it's because maybe the shape wasn't right, but maybe it was just the pillow wasn't right. It was too firm, too dense, too heavy. I don't know. There's some on sale on Kijiji and the local classifieds, even used. I sent this one person like a whole memoirs of my life saying, yeah, I really want this pillow. I'm probably going to drill a hole in it because this one looks like it's for your sleeping on your back and I want a side sleeper. And I'll offer you half of what you're asking for. And I'm apologizing for that too. I might not even say yes if you say yes. So, and I was really having cravings for spring rolls earlier, and we have the stuff to make subs. And so it's amazing how much you don't get pulled down when someone tries to trigger you and you know right from the very start that it's not about you. Because otherwise you say, yeah, clearly this isn't about me, but it kind of is about me because I mean, it's triggering me and you're making it about me. And it makes you wonder. You start questioning yourself. So that's why it's important. It's not that you'll say that you deserve to be treated like that. You'll start wondering, do I deserve to be treated like that? How do I deserve to be treated like that? Let me find that answer. You need to see how they're blaming themselves for you not liking cookies. You need to actually see that in real time. And them going, oh my God, you're saying that I'm a fucking asshole for not liking cookies? Fuck you! You know, you need to. That's the part that you're not actually consciously perceiving, and that part is left blank, and you're looking for that part. And because you're compassionate, you're seeing that person as like, you know, less than you, which to them is really condescending. And existentially, spiritually, maybe it is. I'm not exactly sure. But they're the type of person who's judging you, getting angry at you, blaming themselves for things that you're saying that aren't even designed to hurt them. Like, it's not even malicious on your part, and they're interpreting it that way, and then they're being malicious back to you. Well, I forget what I'm talking about again. I'm sorry about that. Fuck. I'm disappointed right now. Like, I'll show you the pillow I'm thinking of. You know, that's on the local classified. And something about it, I'm thinking, no, you're not gonna like that. Don't get that. Oh, I want it to be sassy too. Check this out. 1 second. Okay, watch this. Yeah, this is my sassy self. This might be a bit difficult because the microphone is more far away now, but I have the gain cranked up on the thing that I'm too bored to remember the name of. So, anyways, as I water fast, I feel more grounded. I feel like there's grounding by the air. There's a certain heaviness. It's like a closer to God feeling. A lot of people who water fast, they talk about feeling closer to God. And the same way that I fall asleep, I guess it brings you back to being in the womb or something. There's a lot of things like smoking a cigarette, it kind of reminds you of sucking on a nipple. It brings you back to a safe place when you're a baby and you could call for help whenever you wanted. Everything was provided for you. Everything was great. Everything was fun. Everyone loved you. And when they weren't around, all you had to do was scream and get really angry and they'd all come back. And there's a lot of things that we like that bring us back to these infantile states that comfort us. And I have felt in the past, although I've lost it when I used to be very meditative, but I lost it when I became traumatized. And I'm slowly getting it back. And I'm not exactly sure how well I'm doing. I'm confused about how well I'm doing. I ask myself, am I enlightened yet? I think so. No, no. Am I close? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. You know, it's fucking. I have different answers all the time. Um, but again, I've forgotten what I'm talking about. That's pretty cool that I laughed at that one. There's one person who I think is a gang stalker, and one of the things that really helped me when I used to hang out with them, and even still when I imagined them, is they really loved me. And whenever I would say anything, just off the cuff, just aloof, just garbage talk. Have you ever just talked bullshit at someone? Not to not to convince them of something, but just kind of rambling. And the person takes your rambling really seriously, not as rambling, but as like really important talk. Oh, really? No, no, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty important, huh? And I feel like I'm really loved. And then I feel like there's slights, like I'm being slighted a lot. And like I'm saying, I know you're saying you're sorry and it was an accident, but I'm starting to think that it happens so often that you really don't care. And I'm even starting to think that you're doing it on purpose. And I'm even starting to think that you're a gang stalker and that you really love me. Or that you're a gang stalker and, no, sorry. No. That you're not a gang stalker and you do really love me and you also really hate me because you're fucking crazy. And I'm just talking too loud and I'm talking with too much sass. You know why? Because I sat down in my sassy position. And part of me, forgive me, but part of me wants to feel like I'm valued. But only when I'm gay. When do I want to feel like I'm valued? When I want to make someone else feel like they can trust me. Because I worry that they feel like I feel. Like someone's got under their skin and made them angry. Someone who they trust. And they're just so upset. And they want to know that there's someone out there who they can trust. And I want to say, I'm here. I can be that trustworthy. I can help you. That trustworthy person, it's me. But the reason that it's gay is because I'm only feeling like that because I'm still blaming myself for the problem that happened when they blamed me. When they blamed me for the cookie thing, I was like, you know, so I'm trying to be a fucking good Samaritan now, a good charitable Samaritan, putting you down, putting you so far beneath me, saying, you poor lost fool, let me just warm you with my, consolation. Let me make you retarded with comfort and just spoon feed you morphine until you're drooling like a fucking retard. That's what you'd think if you get that energy from someone. But as the person suffering, you're just like, I just want to help someone. You know, as that, when you get stuck in that, eventually you start a charity and become a gang stalker. And you're helping someone is putting out their light. That's what you call saving people, is every time you put someone else's light out, it makes your darkness feel a little bit better to you. But anyway, I need to take a little intermission to dance. I'm celebrating a lot right now. I don't understand this V2K stuff and this like holograms, like reading your thoughts. I don't understand it. And I heard someone talking about it and they referenced something in Israel that was available 3 years ago at Christmas time. That you could go anywhere in your house and there would be a beam that follows you. And it sends music to your ears and only you hear it and no one else in your house hears it. And I think it was just literally an acoustic spotlight. That's what it's called if you want to Google it. It's called an acoustic spotlight. And I think it's just literally aiming sound waves at someone. And I don't think you could do that through the walls. And I don't think that proves V2K or putting holograms or thoughts in someone's head. And so, as far as I can tell, V2K means you eat a transmitter, or you get a transmitter surgically put in you, and then somehow they can read your thoughts, and there's patents on these things. I don't know. I don't think about it too much. But when people say they do know, I am a little bit wary. I think, how do you know? Because your explanation doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I just don't understand it. But I really feel like if it was a mainstream topic and Mythbusters were to explain it, they would explain it in terminology that I could understand. Or they'd bust it. More than the people who have explained it, where they just say, you breathed in chemtrails and now they have access into your thoughts. Because your brain's a transmitter now. I mean, I don't understand how that works. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. I heard of putting an electrode into someone's brain to do a certain spot lobotomy, and you could stimulate a certain part of the brain and make the person hear music. I believe that. I heard that from my psychology professor. But if you talk in implication, you're gay. If you're a guy. If you're a girl, you have to talk in implication to hide the fact that you're flirting. As a guy, you don't flirt. I almost had no idea where I was going with that, and then at the last second, the fucking coolness of the song waved over me like a wave. I was just like, oh yeah, I was confident. The answer just came then. And I felt really bad for certain things that I don't even want to say. Things that I worry that I'm not a good person to the people I love these days, to the community that I've left behind, that is still with me, that I'm still talking to. I'm just not checking my notifications and not checking my emails, except for business. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not single. And that makes me feel like a bad boyfriend, like a really bad boyfriend, like I'm taking time off for myself. And I'm just thinking, why are you doing this? You have no good excuse. Because you're a coward? The problem with being gang stalked, these people are so gutless. You don't know the value. If you're a gang stalker, you don't know the value of love. Because for you to love, there's nothing at stake. Because love is taken for granted. Love is mandatory. You just must give it. It's very cheap, third-rate love. It's the kind of love that can be bought. It's the love of a whore, really. Again, I've forgotten what I'm talking about. These moments are embarrassing for me. I do not enjoy these moments. I'm gonna get sassy. That might help. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching, and goodbye.